Hey everybody, welcome to American Idol Unaired. I'm your host Bennett Shear, back with another singer that you didn't see on American Idol. Please welcome Leroy Booker.
What's up? How you doing? How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh man, I'm doing great. Honestly, it's life has been crazy. Life has been insane. To say the least, it's been a blessing too. So, yeah, it's been amazing.
Yeah, I was just talking to you about how beautiful of a day it is where you're located. I'm jealous of that view outside of your car, like the sky and everything.
Yeah, take a gander. It's beautiful out. It's Kenosha. It's my hometown, Kenosha, Wisconsin. Incredibly beautiful. We have a few more months of like beauty. It's getting colder, but the sky's still beautiful. The city's still amazing. A lot of cool things are happening around here. So it's just, yeah, it's my place. It's my home.
I mean, you were probably expecting me to just start off asking you more about like the show and your career and stuff, but tell me about living in Kenosha, how long you've been there, if you've grown up there your whole life, if you like it, what you like about it.
This is my hometown since my entire life. I went to college in Nebraska, and then I moved to Chicago for a little bit, and I came back here. Um, this city has like an insane amount of talent from Kayla Wilcoxon. She's on Broadway. She's touring with Six, the musical right now. Tristan Jazz is from here. Um, just multiple different types of talent, different types of people. Melvin Gordon from the Chargers is from here. It's just like this pool of just talent and just incredible just support, I would say. Like honestly, it's a city that didn't have a lot and is now just receiving so much notice, and due to the news and everything and all that stuff with Kyle Rittenhouse and all that stuff, it's cool to see the city being known for more than just that at this point. So it's cool. Yeah, I love it. It was a love hate relationship when I grew up here, but as I got older and everything, and I'm being able to give back to the city in small ways and cool ways. It's really cool. I've grown to really love this city a lot. So yeah.
I think especially as creative people, we think, oh, we gotta go out to a big city like LA or New York. But even when we're making those moves from home, it's kind of like you realize that it's almost a more special thing to be able to be creative and pursue your dream in the place that you've grown up that kind of raised you, and then you get to sort of experience that with your community.
Absolutely, man. You really need the people that you grew up with to rock with you before anybody else rocks with you. Otherwise, your base is just shaky the entire time. So it's incredible. It's something cool that I've learned for sure.
And it's got to be rewarding for you because I know you talked about how this town is producing all this talent and the fact that you can add yourself to that list. And, you know, we were just talking before about your video shoot you had today and your song hitting 100K. It's something you must be very proud of.
It's incredible. To say the least, it's breathtaking. It's very humbling. Going through that American Idol journey, I thought the result that I got was it was kind of like it was heartbreaking. It was heart wrenching for me. I thought it was gonna be it. I thought that was like, it was just gonna be one of those things that, oh, this is your biggest failure, and now you're just gonna have to live with it, and kind of things like that. And to see my failure actually being the thing that has made me successful, thing that put me on the map. Um, I have American Idol to thank for that, honestly, man. Like that, I've met some incredible people there. I've met some insanely talented people there, but I've also realized parts of the business that I had no idea about whatsoever. And just learning all that, I mean, that just their social media requirements and like the things and the exercises they had us do while we were there, like I took that and then implemented that into my whole just routine of life, and that's helped me blow up. That's helped me really do the things, you know.
It's so inspiring because people don't hear these stories. They look at, oh, only the people that won or got fifth place, and they think those are the success stories. But you didn't get aired, and so people might not realize it from watching American Idol. But, you know, once they see you advancing your career and the other ways that you'll make moves, it's like now they're going to know. Like, it doesn't matter if you started at Idol or wherever you kind of began, you know, it's all a part of your journey. But just to know that you took that and you grew from it, I think it's pretty wild.
That's the only thing you really can do, you know what I mean? I think one of the biggest things was, just not stopping, not allowing that no that you get in those hundreds and thousands of those that you're going to get. from submitting to blogs, submitting to magazines, submitting to A&Rs, to whatever. You're going to get probably more no's than you will yeses, but those yeses are going to mean so much more, And so, it took me a minute. I definitely took a break from it, but it once I kicked back up and I started going and I wasn't willing to give up, I think that is what I realized is like the main thing. And I don't know. I think people should go for it. I don't think that anybody should stop themselves because they're afraid that they're going to get told no. If anything, that no is probably going to be the best no that you got. So, I mean, for me, at least it was.
I'm so excited to dive into Idol, but first I need to ask how long you've been doing the music thing, when you got into it, what inspired you to get into it.
Yeah, I've been doing music since I was 14, about 14, 15 years old. I actually auditioned for American Idol when I was, I think, 16 or 17. And that was in Little Rock, Arkansas. So this is my second time going through that whole system. And it was really, really cool. I didn't make it nearly as far the last time. And I don't know. Yeah, I've been doing music since I was 15. The first song that I recorded was Ray J's One Wish. And that was with my dad on this program called Cool Edit Pro. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's horrendous, but like it's horrible. But it was the first time, and I realized that that was something that I wanted to do. And jumping up on stage at my talent show my freshman year, and like getting that feeling, getting that adrenaline high, getting that thing that it's the best drug in the world. In all honesty, I think. Being able to connect with people, being able to grab everyone's attention all at once, and you have the power to make somebody feel something if they're connected with you. And to have that, I think that's an insane responsibility, but it's also something that I fell in love with.
I didn't realize that you had done the show before. And so, just to clarify, when you did it the first time in Little Rock, was that kind of the beginning for you, or were you doing stuff even before that very first American Idol experience?
I did things when I was 10, 12 years old. I was putting on shows when I was 13. I did a bar show when I was like 14 or 15. And then I started writing my own music about 15 years old.
And then that's around the time that you did the show in Little Rock. What season was that the first time?
It was right before they switched networks. It was literally like that season that they switched networks. I can't put a finger on it, but the gentleman who won was actually like two things before me in the producer auditions. So I got through the first round and he was two seats before me. I just remember as Little Rock, Arkansas. I can't remember the season right off the top of my head.
I'm gonna show off my Idol nerdness here because I knew the season as soon as you said Little Rock because I remembered the city that they went to. That city, season 15. Trent Harmon won the show, and it was the final season on Fox before they switched to ABC. Did you get in front of the judges, or did you just only make it past the producers?
I got through the first round of producers, and then I got to the second round of executives. And I walked into that room, and I brought my guitar. And as soon as I walked into the room, I got nervous, and I set it down, and I just did the song without the guitar. And I was young. I was very, very young. I was very nervous. I was very unsure of myself, and it was interesting. And they were just like, "You're not ready yet." And I think that was the right answer because I wasn't. I was just getting started. I was just learning myself. It's hard to relate to anybody who doesn't know themselves. And so I think being able to have the experience and to be able to do that, I took about an 8-year gap from that point, 7, 8 year gap, and really just focused on doing live shows, focused on recording, focused on just trying to build my fan base as much as I could. And then coming back to the show this past year and I guess this year. And wow, it feels like it's been like 3 years already.
Yeah.
But being able to come back the second time and understand like mentally where I had to put myself and like how I had to situate myself was the thing that really helped me, I think, in this round, in this season, and being able to like actually get through and accept and internalize everything.
Did someone reach out to you to go back, or did you choose to just sign up
No,
yourself?
no, yeah, I auditioned in my bathroom in Chicago on the nationwide auditions, and I auditioned like 4 times through that, and it was just cool. I had $17 in my account, and I felt like I had nothing to lose. I called off of work that day, and I just sat in my bathroom for like 6 hours going through the preliminaries, through the second audition, third audition, fourth audition, and then get that notification and that kind of like assurance of, all right, we're going to have you come out and audition for the celebrity judges. Katie, Lionel, Luke. Is just like, I looked up to those people my entire life. I listened to every single one of their songs. So it's just like, it was really a surreal moment, and a moment that gave me like the reassurance that it was something that I was supposed to be doing.
Quite a time gap between season 15 and season 20. I mean, it's one
Yeah.
thing to go back a year, 2 years after. What was that moment when you said, like, okay, this is the time? Why now?
I think the thing that made me choose that was the fact that I felt like I had nothing left to lose. Um, I already felt kind of like, I don't know, I'm sure everybody has felt like this at one point, but kind of feel like a failure. You kind of feel like everything that you're doing. I have an agent for acting in California, and I was getting callbacks, but I couldn't afford to fly out to the callbacks. I was getting opportunities to do shows in California and Nashville and all these other things, and I couldn't do that because I couldn't afford it. I got offers to do interviews for radio and songs. I got a song with Neo. I was sleeping on my best friend's couch when that was happening. I was living in Nebraska when that happened. Um, all these things were just like, I just felt like I didn't have anything else to lose, you know. And I think the 8 year thing was more so of maybe a self ego thing. You know, you're nervous to get told that you're not good enough, you know. And so at that point, and even now, it's just like I don't mind being told I'm not good enough, because there's some people that still connect with it, you know, on some level. And so it's more important that you just actually take those steps, because 50% of people actually don't. So 50% of people aren't never going to know, you know. And I think talking to my father, talking to everybody, my father is a really big influence on me making decisions sometimes. And he just pushes me to challenge myself, to be told no, to look at myself in the mirror and really ask myself, why am I afraid? Is it an ego thing, or is it actually like a thing that I should be afraid of? And most of the time, like 99% of the time, it's an ego thing. So it's you just have to bite the bullet and be willing to be rejected and accept that, but also realize that it's just one person's opinion or three people's opinion, and you still have the ability to go back and go to the crafting board and chisel away at the things that you feel that you need to work on in order to become more relatable, become the artist that you want to be, whether that be the next Drake or just known artists around your town, you know, like be able to be sustainable off your music and make money from it, and not even just make money from it, but just be happy doing something like that. You know, I think everybody should do something that they're happy with. Yeah, there's no point of doing this whole life thing and not being happy and not chasing the things that you desire to chase, because you only have this body at least once. I think, I'm not sure, but you know, like I think we all have just this opportunity to live this part of our life, this trail, and we just have to go for it at the end of the day. So that's what made me kind of do it. I just was like, I have nothing to lose.
And look where you are now and how confident you must feel in that decision that you made to do that audition that day.
It changed my life, man. Honestly, like they changed my life for sure.
That's so cool. Tell me,
Yeah.
going into the show, and I feel like this is an ever evolving question for any artist, especially considering that you went on the show 2 times. You probably could answer it separately for each time, but going into season 20 at least, who were some of your biggest influences as an artist?
Frank Ocean, right off the top. Babyface, he's incredible. I mean, most of the hits that you hear on the radio are written by him, especially in the early 2000s, mid 2000s. I got one more. I would say, like, honestly, like, it's funny, but you know, Justin Bieber for sure. As far as like new artists go, he definitely has a really really cool way of continuously evolving and evolutioning himself through this business. And I kind of look at that and I'm like, how he navigates himself, how he does R&B, how he does pop, how they can't seem to put him in a box besides just popular, you know. So it's like that's somebody that I admire. That's somebody that I really, really look up to. And business wise, his business model is just incredible. His brand is incredible. So that, yeah, for sure.
I don't want to praise myself too much because it's your interview, but I was literally just going to say what I love about Justin Bieber is his ability to keep evolving and keep changing as an artist. Because
Yeah.
look at where he started. I mean, you had like half of the world that were all the teenage girls screaming for him and everybody else making fun of him and his high pitched voice. But like he didn't let that get to him. And look at where he is now, still selling out arenas. And hey, I mean, I still go back and like I missed out on that song Eenie Meenie with Sean Kingston. I don't know if you know that one. But like
Oh,
my girlfriend who's like, how have you not heard this song? She showed it to me in the car one time and I'm like, okay, like why did what? Like I missed out on this. And my favorite pop producer is Benny Blanco. I don't know if you know him, but he produced that
oh,
song.
Benny, dude. Oh my gosh,
Oh,
Benny's a
I want to meet,
hilarious guy.
I would love to meet him.
He's incredible. I would just like to sit in the studio with him. Him and Ed Sheeran. I would just like to sit in there and just watch them like freaking talk. Like even just working together. I think they're incredible. I think Benny has this thing where uh, at least I was watching this like mini docu series on him, and his work ethic and like the fact that he was just getting told no consistently, and he still was like, no, I'm gonna get in there. He's like, he was like, no, I'm gonna do it. Like, it is what it is, like I'm gonna find a way in there, and then when I get in there, I'm gonna stay. And he's continuously worked with countless icons, countless stars, and yeah, I bet Benny Blanco is insane. Justin Bieber, him working with Benny, I realized that like Benny has the secret sauce. He definitely has the secret sauce.
Have you seen the footage of Benny and Ed Sheeran writing Love Yourself?
I have, when they were on like that freaking ship and
Oh my
everything.
God, that
I was,
was so sick.
I was like, that's so cool to just record on something like that. That'd be insane. I was like, it, places like that, and then you and also like when he was on the bus as well, and like just like writing that and recording that and recording the reference track to that, and not realizing that it was going to be a reference track, just like we're just going to write something, we're going to do something really cool, and uh, it's incredible, like it's those moments, it's those kind of situations. It's never the situation where you get into a massive studio and you're you're in this environment where it's so intense and like, oh, I have to come up with something. It's always those like living room moments or like those random shit moments, I guess, for them. But like, it's incredible, to me at least.
And then also he produced my favorite song of the year so far, Bad Decisions with BTS and Snoop Dogg. I mean,
It's an insane Bob. He has the sauce, man. It's what Pharrell calls the sauce. You could have swag, but you have to have the sauce. I look up to Pharrell insanely. His mixing style, his way of mixing. When he mixes his just whole album, the way it just surrounds you, the way it like consumes you within that entire piece. It's incredible. I think he's insane. Tyler the Creator really takes a lot from him too, and how he produces and mixes and creates music too as well. So I think, yeah, him and Benny are two people that I would love to work with at some point, for sure.
man, we could do a whole separate episode on production alone because I've got my list in my mind of all the producers that I'm like, oh my God, and I'm not even an artist. So for you, it's like, it must just be watching them and just being like in a daze, like, oh my God, the way you just bring this stuff to life. And as a fellow artist, it's like, it's inspirational. It's helpful to you to have these people as influences.
You have to have influences. You have to have people that you look up to. If you have no one you look up to, you're not doing something right, because that means your ear is not to the ground. Your ear is to yourself. And that's the one thing that I've learned is you have to listen to what's around you in order to connect to what's around you. You can't expect to write a hit and not be connected with anybody, because you're not going to, no matter what you're doing. Benny does it where he's like, we're just going to sit and we're going to vibe. And if it happens, it happens, and that's him still being connected. It's not him being like, oh, this is just another job. It's like, if the song doesn't come out, it doesn't come out, but at least we got to connect and like hang out and have a good time, get to be friends and be human still. because sometimes you lose that humanity when you're in this business, at least.
I'm curious if you had any experiences meeting your fellow American Idol competitors. I don't know how far you got yet, you'll tell me, but whether it was just kind of sitting with people. I don't know if you've collaborated with anybody who you've stayed in touch with, but you're obviously meeting a lot of fellow artists when you're on the show. So did you have any of those moments where you got to meet or possibly work with anybody from the show?
Oh, for sure, absolutely. I met quite a few. Raymond, for sure. He was one of the first people to reach out to me after the whole experience. Corey, Corey's incredible. That kid's voice is insane. Like, I'm trying. We actually are in the talks of doing something. I want him on a bridge of one of my songs for an album. So his voice is just incredible. I think it's gonna fit perfectly within this song that I have coming. Honestly, like, to me, Corey had one of the closest whole packages that I've seen at that audition right off the bat. Um, his image, his sound, the fact that he was just. I'm very, very like. I feel like I'm extroverted, but when I meet new people, I'm very, very introverted. So it's like I was very to myself. I was very just trying to focus, trying to enjoy the moment, trying to take in everybody that was around me. But I'm a quiet guy. Um, and he was just so extroverted, just willing to connect with anyone. And I admired that about people. I think Raymond was like that too. Um, it was just cool seeing all these different types of personalities. I think his name was Josh or Joshua. I met him as well. We sang and played guitar together a little bit. There's just so many people that were there. It was something that I'll never forget. And seeing all that talent there and realizing that everybody had a right to be there and everybody deserved to be there. It was like, wow, I'm in a very, very selective group of people. There is so many people in this nation, let alone the world. And the fact that I was chosen to even get flown out here to do this, and really it was incredible. And yeah, to realize that that was the importance, was making those connections, to maintain those connections, and to kind of like establish yourself as a person. That's what I found was the most important thing. That's the thing that I got out of it, was how do you maintain these relationships? Because you may not have got through, but this person could have gotten through, and they could have still been a genuine connection to you. And next thing you know, you could be charting, or you could be just having a genuine friendship within a business that it's really, really hard to find genuine people at times. So it's an incredible platform. That it's a very incredible platform when you look at it like that, rather than just trying to win all the time.
Oh yeah, and it's like it's all those people that you'll stay in contact with. Like you said, whatever happens industry wise, whoever makes it in this capacity or that capacity, you stay in contact. It's like, okay, well, you're doing this, I'm doing that, but we have this common thread of American Idol. We'll never forget what it was like to sit together and film that TV show and go in front of those judges. And it's like you could be doing something completely different from me artistically, and you can be working with all different kinds of people. We might not live in the same place, but you and I experienced something so similar. That's a bond I feel like that you never lose.
It's something that you'll never lose, because it's an exciting moment. It's an emotional moment. It's a moment where you feel like your life could change forever if you get the opportunity. Um, that same feeling of like when you get to a certain point of it, or you don't, and you have to go back to reality, that reestablishing yourself and back into reality, that kind of thing. It's like that's a little bit jarring. And so I think you all have that common like thread, even the winner, like there's a part where you have to go kind of back to reality a little bit. You're no longer on TV. You're no longer getting that insane treatment. Now you have to really work. And it's interesting, because no matter if you win or not, you still have to put in that groundwork. They're still having to go on tour. I'm sure they're on tour right now. I'm sure he's making an album right now, and they'll be promoting that for the next season, and it'll be incredible. It'll be an amazing thing. But you still have to put that same work ethic in, even if you win or lose. Really, it just depends on if you find that you still love it after all this.
It's like you go back to reality. The only difference is you get to bring these people with you back to reality. All the people that you met, you didn't have them in your life before American Idol. So even if you're going back home trying to figure out what I'm going to do next, you get to have these people by your side. You can collaborate with them. You can lean on them for help, the friendships, and it still changes you.
100%. I mean, that's the cool part about it. I really, really, really appreciate the connections that I made and the genuine connections that I made, and realizing that, a lot of people felt the same way. A lot of people felt excited, happy, nervous, disappointed, ecstatic, like there's just a wide realm of emotions that you go through, and you kind of bond with people through that moment. And it's something that unless you were there, you can't really describe that feeling, because you you all are equally as nervous walking into that room in front of people that you've looked up to and watched on TV, and then you walk into that room and you're just like, they don't even like seem real until they talk to you, and then you're like, oh, they're human beings just like us, but they're just like, they're glowing, like they have like this ever like this insanely illuminating glow to them, and it's like it's incredible, and you just only hope that one day you can be in that same category as them, or at least work towards getting towards that category. That's the whole point of even auditioning in the first place. So in a way, I mean, in another way, you just want to be able to not have to work a 9 to 5, something that you don't want to do. You want to do something that you do and something that you love. And to me, it was, I just want to be able to bring something back to the city that has given me so much. I mean, from the theater department that I was a part of when I was in high school to the music people that I am connected with in the city. I mean, there's artists like, I know you won't know them, but Alexander Kane and Fred the Black Kid, and kids that I grew up with in high school, and they're really making like splashes within the gigantic industry sea that we have. Like they're just little splashes, and it's just cool to start meeting them and making those connections in the way where it's like now I have somewhat of a platform, and it's cool to be able to shout people out like Corey, and then in the same breath shout out people that I grew up with my entire life, and help them start adding more fans to their little base and their bigger base, or whatever the case may be, depending on like what they've done. And it's cool, it's incredible, it's something that I've dreamed of, and I hope to bring something more to this city. I hope to bring a center to this city where kids can go and learn about the industry and record and do all this stuff. Like that's my biggest dream in the world, and that's why I auditioned for American Idol, because I wanted to start kind of working towards that too.
I love hearing when people say that their biggest thing is to give back, because that's what
Mm-hmm.
I think we all should want to do at the end of this thing. I mean, or even during the height of our career, is we want to take what we've gotten from our mentors and our influences, our inspirations, and maybe be that person for someone else through, maybe it's a center, or maybe it's just like even the feeling of somebody listening to your music and saying that you've inspired them, like that comes full circle because you spend your whole life looking up to other people, and now other people can look up to you. And it's like, it's almost a whole nother part of being an artist, right? Is the idea that you're not just doing it for yourself, you're doing it for all these other people that are coming up next.
Yeah, it's incredible. Dealing with like mental health stuff and everything, letting people know that they're not alone in certain things and certain feelings that you feel crazy for feeling. Artists like, I don't know, like Khalid and Sam Smith. I mean, they're prime examples of like that emotional feeling of like, wow, I feel I have to be tough within a situation that I really don't have to be tough in. And there's those kind of artists, and the artists that we all connect with, whatever it be. I think even people like Greta Van Fleet, I don't know if you know of them, but they're incredible. Like as far as being able to tell a story, and their music and their album, their very first debut album was probably one of my favorite albums because of the narratives that they talked about. And it's things like that. Like you just hope that somebody connects. And then when somebody does tell you like, wow, like you've helped me through this or you've helped me through that, you're like, so my lowest point was the thing that helped you get to your highest point. And that's an incredible feeling. It makes it feel like all worth it at the end of the day. You know what I mean? It's irreplaceable. And it humbles you. It humbles you immensely, and it makes you realize the things that you kind of like say, and the things that you record, and the energy that you put out into the universe. It's like it affects people in more ways than you actually realize, and you just try to do the best you can. Sometimes you're great at it, sometimes you're not, sometimes you slip up and say the wrong thing, or sometimes you say the right thing. It's just a learning experience.
Yeah, I'd love to hear more on your thoughts about the importance of spreading mental health awareness as an artist, because I think it's tough when you're entering an industry that people might look at you and they forget sometimes that you're human. If you're an artist and you're on stage in front of thousands of people, you're at an award show, and you're being judged online because you have Twitter where people say whatever they want, or TikTok, and you're trying to become famous, which is what a lot of people dream of because more people know who they are, and we talk about how great it is to be known. At the same time, having that pressure, constantly having to work, like anything in life. I mean, having to work a lot and having to be under pressure is stressful, but add the spotlight onto that, I'm sure that there's a lot you could say about the importance of making sure people know, we're all going through things regardless of whether or not we have a platform.
It definitely is a lot, because you wish for people to look at you, when you only have 200 monthly listeners, or you have 50 monthly listeners, and you only get 3 streams or 3 views on your latest cover video or your latest music video, or you just put out a song for the first time and it's not getting received well, and you're just, God, I wish people would listen. I have so much to offer. I want people to listen. And then when people finally look at you and they start micro analyzing every little bit about you, and you realize very quickly that they only do that because a lot of people have been disappointed with people that they've looked up to their entire life, and so they're trying to avoid being disappointed. And what I've realized is the thing that has made me at least not feel as pressured as things are starting to rise a little bit is just honesty. Like if I personally have struggled with depression and thoughts of suicide and everything, for sure. And I think there's a lot of people that have, and to be honest about that and to promote, the suicide prevention hotline is something that I really, really try to push. Um, because a lot of the times it's just our head. It's the way that we think. It's the way that we put weight upon ourselves, and like the decisions and things that aren't in our control. Um, Having people come up to you out of nowhere and wanting to do stuff with you when you've tried to do stuff with them your entire life, and now you're like, is it because they like me for me, or is it because they want something, or they think that something's going to happen? You don't know. But at the same time, it's more so you just have to accept the fact that people are human. Accept the fact that you are human, and some days you're going to wake up and you're going to be grateful and you're going to be amazing and you're going to smile and you're going to feel like SpongeBob walking out on the best day ever. And then some days you're going to feel like the entire world is against you and there's just a big rain cloud over you. And I think I'm fortunate enough because I have something, but I'm still able to walk around and do things and be a human being. And there's people that, I mean, you look at it like Taylor Swift, Justin Bieber, like these massive, massive icons, Katy Perry, Luke, Lionel, like people that walk around and people don't treat them like they're human, and there's cameras being shoved in their face, and they might be having a bad day. They might have just heard something horrible about their aunt and or their family, and next thing you know, it's like, hey, how you doing? Like, let me bring up the most harsh thing about your life, right? And let me ask you about it, as your day might be going great or horrible. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't take into consideration when they're going for something like fame, unless your reason for it and the reason for fame is to be something more than famous. Because that stuff could consume you, and some people take it for granted, some people take advantage of it, but some people also know how to handle it really well. And I think you just have to kind of navigate that as you go and not try to eat the entire cake. I remember my college professor, he used to say, don't try to eat the cake whole, just take it a piece at a time. Like, don't try to learn all your lines, don't try to learn the entire song, don't try to produce an entire song if you can't produce it all in that one moment. Take it one step at a time. If you get stuck, take it one piece at a time and one bite at a time. Don't eat the entire piece. Enjoy it, savor it, enjoy these moments of actually going up and learning what people like, what people don't like. When people aren't looking at you, that's your time to experiment and find out what you like about yourself, the sound that you like, the sound that you want to bring, the kind of people that you want to come to your shows, whether it be everyone or just a specific group of people that struggle with a specific thing. It's like, is this going to be a safe haven for these people, or these people, or these people, or is it going to be a safe haven as a whole, as a vague whole? And learning how to navigate that, learning how to navigate yourself, and taking that time. Don't try to rush into fame, because I think when you rush into it, that's when you get overwhelmed by it. It's, if you start feeling overwhelmed by it, take a step back. It's okay. Everything that is meant for you will be for you, is what I've realized. And the things that aren't meant for you aren't meant for you. And then you celebrate everybody else's wins. You celebrate the people that have worked consistently hard in order to get to where they got to. And you have to learn how to be excited and happy for other people. Otherwise, it's going to be an uphill battle consistently. Like it'll be a consistent uphill battle, because if you can't be happy for any other person when they win, how are you expecting other people to be happy for you? You know. So
Word, period. I don't know. I won't reply. I will just appreciate the fact that you imparted so much wisdom and so much content came out of that little awesome, awesome section. It's all so overwhelming and emotional to have that validation of success and yet still be a human being. And the feelings that we have as a human being kind of are stripped from anything that you want as an artist. The success, the charts, the screaming fans. Sometimes none of that matters when you just want to be a human who is loved for you, not the hit songs or any of that stuff, you know?
and you realize that the people that were there the entire time that loved you for you, you tend to hold on to them a little bit tighter. You tend to want to just go to a diner and have breakfast with them. I mean, I just had breakfast with my brother this morning before I went to my dental appointment, then the video shoot. And like those moments, like where you're being able to sit in a restaurant and just be with them, that type of person or those type of people, and being with him and his wife, and just enjoying that moment, like not worrying about anything else. Because there's times where I'm just like, oh, I have to do this marketing thing, I have to talk to these people, I have to do this, and you're just like so consumed in what you need to do, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait, hold on, why was I even doing this in the first place? And it was like, oh yeah, it was to help my family, relieve them of financial burdens, to be able to give them something that they given me, that both of my parents never got to go to college. And the fact that I got to go and really learn and meet my lifelong producer, Luke Ralphs, and meet my friend Lou, and he's also a producer, and meet some amazing artists through that moment, and really craft a lot of the sound that I have now. And to be able to meet people that were like, yeah, you should go for American Idol, audition for it, like do this, do that. It's like supporting you constantly, and then being there for you when you have nothing, when you only have $9 or $7 in your account, and you don't have anywhere to go, and you went through a breakup, and you're doing this and doing that, and you're going through all these life changes. You might be going through something crazy. You might have had a bad experience at a college party. You might have went out on a party in high school, and they're the ones that came and saved you. And like like there's things like that where it's like those are the people that really matter. Like this stuff is cool. Like I hope that it keeps going up. I hope that it keeps excelling and keeps doing amazing. But it's, to me, at the end of the day, it's just about connecting with people. If you can't share that stuff and like those emotional parts of yourself with anyone, then this fame stuff gets to be a lot. And it gets to be heavy, because you don't have any way to escape that. You just have to be the superhero all the time, and it can be hectic. And we've seen people that we've looked up to fall and then come back up and be amazing people and share love and share positivity. But it took them a minute, because they didn't have anybody around them, because they were so focused on certain aspects of that business. And it can be consuming, but if you start to realize what you need as a person, and you just implement that, even if it isn't as much as you want it to, not being able to go see family all the time the way that I want to, but making sure that I set out time to, it's that's critical in order to be able to not take yourself so seriously all the time, I think, personally, because sometimes we take ourselves too seriously as people, and I don't know. Sometimes we just need to have fun and laugh and realize when we mess up on that note that it's okay to be like, that was horrible, but
Yeah.
let's go. Let's do it. Like, let's do it again. I can't wait, and it, and just to have those times with family and the things that really matter, like fame is cool. Fame is great. I think I'm not nearly as famous as I hope or aspire to be, or I hope one day that I can be able to be able to bring people in and be able to have that center, have that place, or have those connections in order to put kids in situations where they can learn. And I wish I would have learned a lot of the things that I learned as I'm older now, when I was younger, and about the business, about auditioning, about doing all this stuff in music, about touring, about marketing, about everything, like giving people the opportunity to learn that stuff a little bit earlier. And I hope to be able to bring that, but I also just I want to I want to maintain that bit of humanity, because I think that's the thing that makes anyone marketable. That's the thing that makes the stars that we think about marketable, is they somehow, through all this craziness and all this star flashiness, maintained humanity in some way, you know.
And I think all those people that you mentioned, your producer, your brother and his wife, your family, anybody who's been there for you throughout all of this, those are the constants in your life. Everything that's going to change, that's going to be up and down, it's like they're there for you through it all. They're there to celebrate the victories. They're there to hug you when things aren't going too well. And all of that makes it worth it, I think, having those people around you.
Absolutely.
I've just been so freaking inspired talking to you. And we haven't even talked about the audition yet, because I want to get to that. Before we
Yeah.
get to that, I want to remind you guys that if you have not already subscribed to American Idol Unaired, you don't even have to pause this episode. It's so easy. If you're on YouTube, you'll see that subscribe button. You know how it works. Just click it. If you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, it should be right there. You don't even have to pause. Like I said, just hit that subscribe button. You will not miss a note of American Idol Unaired. Anytime there's a new episode, you will get notified. You'll be the first to know it is out. So go and do that. Now, Leroy, I want to talk to you about your audition in front of Katie, Luke, and Lionel, because you told me that you've looked up to these guys, you've listened to their music. So what did it feel like to walk in front of the judges, walk in that room, see their faces, and perform for them?
I think I would have to pull it back to when I first arrived in Austin. My traveling situation was really confusing. I got it all last minute. Getting in there, I was one of the last people to arrive, and I just felt like I was just so grateful to be there. Walking into that situation, walking into three icons of the industry, three people that have worked incredibly, incredibly hard to get to where they are, and have found out a way to maintain their brand, as well as, like, again, maintain that bit of humanity. I was one of the first people of the first day to, like, kind of go in there and really sing for them. And I remember I remember one of the executives coming up to me and being like, all right, you're going to be the first one. We're going to switch you. I was supposed to be on this day, but then they pushed me to the first, and it was like, okay, now you're going to go in there and you're just going to sing for them. Make sure you show your personality, everything like that. Walking in there, I walked in there. I looked straight at Luke first, and I was like, that man doesn't look real. Like, he looks like a freaking statue. I don't understand. Looking at Katie, I just began to pan, and I was like, I have to at least try to be normal, because uh, all I could see was just Katie's, like, eyes, and I was just like, oh wow, okay, this is nerve wracking. Like, they're real people, but this is intense. And it was kind of all a blur until right before I started singing, and I was singing Khalid Location, just like a little bit higher key, and it was fun, and I had them dancing with me. I had them kind of vibing a little bit, and it was cool. And then to kind of stop and be like, wow, I just sang for three of the people that I've looked up to my entire life. Three of the people that you walk through the store and you see on ET magazine, or like the freaking People's magazine, and you're just like, wow, like, I feel like I know a lot about you, but probably not. And like, and I've looked up to you my entire life, and I just sang for you, and you might reject me, and that is sort of what happened. Um, and I remember, like walking in there and Katie being like, "Well, you look like a star, but can you sing like one? Are you actually one?" And after my audition and you know getting my result, Katie had said yes, and she was she. I remember her just saying, "Don't stop. There's something there. Just don't stop. Don't whatever you do, don't stop." It was hard to take that though. I remember walking out of the door after that, and I see my father's face go from a smile to a frown a little bit, and it wasn't anything personal. It was just like that thing that where you get excited and you're like, oh, this could be something amazing. This could be something great. And to see that and realizing that I'm going to work as hard as I possibly can to make sure that that feeling never comes across him again. Um, that's what motivated me to continuously go after the entire situation. Then again, like I met incredible people. I met some of the heads of ABC. I met obviously the director from American Idol. I met Lionel, Luke, and Katie, and the people that have like honestly like intertwined me and changed my life, and that no, and I remember sitting there afterwards, and they had us sitting in like the separate area for a little bit, and I remember kind of like breaking down a little bit, and like I had went out to the balcony, and I just felt kind of defeated a little bit, and like you take that all to yourself until you realize that there's so many people when you get back on that tram to go back to the hotel that have went through the same exact feeling that you went through, and you're like, wow, okay, but what can I do now? Because I still want to do this. I still want to be a musician. I still want to be an artist. I still have a desire to do this. This is the only thing that makes me happy. What can I do? And for a little while, there was no answer. There was I lost both of my jobs the moment I got back because I went to the audition. I was dead broke, living in Chicago. Um, it was a lot. It was very stressful. And then around February, when they started to air a little bit of something and started getting showed, I thought I was so embarrassed. I was like, they're gonna show me failing, and I've already feel like a failure. And then next thing you know, it's like they show it, and my entire city was just excited. Like they were just excited that I was even on something like that. They were excited that somebody that they knew, that they supported throughout high school, middle school, everything, that there was actually somebody pursuing it still and still going after something. And that correlated to people just following and digging into the music that I already had out, having the catalog that I did. And then my life started to change, and I was like, wow, like that no wasn't really a no. That no was a yes to so many other people. And I was just I was flabbergasted. I was taken away. It was hard though. Not to put light on it. I think a lot of people that have had went through that, and there was a lot of people that were talented, and there was people that they thought didn't have the voice to be able to take it through that competition. There are people that they thought that would, and then one moment they have that feeling and the next moment they don't, and it's like you take it personally, but really it's just like, hey, like, do you are you fitting the mold of what our viewers are wanting at the moment? Are you able to connect with our fan base? And like I think everybody has the ability to, but if you don't grab those people's attention, I feel like Katie, Lionel, and Luke really, really know that fan base pretty well, right? And the producers know the fan base really, really well, and they know what people are going to want to tune into and click on and vote for. And I thoroughly believe that they made the right decision. Like I think like that pushed me to go in a whole, just push the gas pedal and cut the brakes on everything. Because when I lost both of my jobs and everything, I felt like I made I made a decision and I was getting punished for following my dreams. And then to come back home after personal stuff had happened and to feel like a failure, and then for the city to embrace me in a way, and then also like to realize that that was just the beginning. That was just a platform, that was just a stepping stone into, now people have something to relate me to an iconic show that has changed multiple people's lives. And I didn't even get as far as people that I looked up to, like Ruben Studdard, and like people that I constantly like wanted to be like, and there's many people that have been rejected in that way. You could say rejected. They've went on to do amazing things. Tori Kelly. I mean, like there's multiple people that have auditioned for this show and not gotten through, but then have went on to be very successful people. And I think it's just not about giving up on yourself. Don't let that situation, don't let people have you decide if you're good enough for something or not. There's that now it's like if there's a thin line through that, but if you feel like that's something that you love to do and that you want to do it doesn't matter if you're not the next American Idol. It matters that you tried, like you actually like pursued it. Like you have to go after it, because you're going to doubt yourself and you're going to be I hate living in what ifs. And I'm sure everybody there is happy that they actually went through it, whether they got through it to the top 10 or the top 3 or the top 5, or whether they only got to the executive round. And that's when they got let go. My first time, I was just happy that I could, as a 16, 17-year-old, got through to even like meet those kind of people, to meet people of an industry that I had no idea about. And then the second time to meet people that I've looked up to my entire life, and people behind the scenes that could change your life. And those are connections that if you rub people the right way, they'll remember you. It doesn't matter if you're on the show or not, they'll just remember you. They'll remember how you carried yourself, and that's the most important thing, is don't carry yourself like, like carry yourself as humble as you can, because it only takes one wrong rub to really mess it up for yourself. And it's all about relationships. It's the same thing as friendships. It's the same thing as really, really getting to meet that friend that you went to in middle school or high school, and they share that yogurt cup with you, or they share their snacks with you during class while you're in math class and everything. It's that same feeling. It's like, oh wow, that person was actually a genuine person. When you audition for something like this, whether it be American Idol or any other talent oriented thing, it's be yourself. Like just try to create that at least emotional connection with as many people as you possibly can, because you just never know. You never know who's looking. You never know who's gonna continuously keep looking. You never know. But my experience was great.
What do you learn
Yeah.
from the people who work behind the scenes? Because you've been doing music all your life, and TV is a whole different beast. I mean, it sounds like you haven't been doing any other show. It sounds like you weren't on any other show like this before Idol. Obviously, you did it once before in season 15. But what do you learn from producers, directors? I mean, any takeaways from people behind the scenes?
You have to know yourself, because they're going to try to figure you out, and they're going to see if you're a reactive person. They're going to see if you're a person that is a genuine person. They're going to see if your story lines up. They're going to see if, honestly, like you just the producers are actually people that have a love for this. They have a love for shooting talent. They have a love for whether it be TV or music or whatever. There's people that do it while they're out of college for that semester, or like they're it's endless. But as far as like the executives go, like they really, really want you to do well. Like they don't want you to do bad. They don't. they would rather you do good instead of having to sit through 60, 100, 5,000 bad things. Like they want you to do really good, and they're genuine people. Like I think they're the thing that helps you calm down. Like uh, a lot of the producers were there to, at least for me, when they could tell you were overthinking. They gave you some moments, they gave you some words. They're like, hey, I know this is overwhelming. Take your time, do your thing, and then come back when you're ready. Like, we're ready for you whenever you're ready. And to like hear that as a person and to receive that, and sometimes they'll big you up and sometimes they'll kind of question you and see how well you're going to take criticism, and there's a TV aspect to it, but I think there's also a reality aspect to it, like a real part of it. And a lot of people just want to see you do good. They love seeing when you walk through that door with a golden ticket, or I guess in this case, in this past season, a platinum ticket. And they love to see that actual like excitement and reaction, because we all want to feel that. We all want to feel that sense of, wow, like I just feel like I accomplished something that I've worked for my entire life. And a lot of people sometimes have negative things to say, but honestly, like I've met some of the most amazing videographers and producers there, and I've followed them as far as their career goes, and they shoot movies, they do things, they do crazy things, and it's just like, wow, like you really don't know how small this like network of people is until you actually meet them, and you're like, these people are incredible. They're so talented, and they're they're there for you depending on how you carry yourself. Like they'll give you what you're putting out. That was what I've experienced as far as like the producer side of things. Like, but that whole team is incredible. They make you feel like a superstar while you're there. That's for sure.
They do. Whether or not, even if you don't even get aired, it's like they give everybody the time of day, all the contestants, no matter if they're going to air you or not. I don't know whether or not you want to share what Luke and Lionel said in their critiques. Obviously, they didn't put you through, but even if you don't want to, like, what did you learn from them? Because they obviously propelled you, and it was a difficult day, but they obviously must have taught you something.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think I think the thing that I took from it was, even if it was a no, like they still gave compliments.
Hmm.
They still were like, I like this part, but I just don't know if you're gonna match, like, again, like the Kelly Clarksons and the Ruben Studdards of this competition. There's so many talented people, and they know what they're listening to, they know what they're looking for, and they're they try to navigate and see. And Lionel was a little bit on the fence about it. Luke was pretty firm, but at the same time, it was like, it wasn't that they didn't think it was good. They weren't sure that it was going to carry through the competition. Like I was the first person out of all these people that they had to see, and I knew that it was going to be pretty tough. And it was hard not to take it personal at first, but then being able to come back and now look back at it in my perspective right now, it's like I can't take it personal. Like they they were doing the best that they could with the job that they had to do, and they can only say yes to so many people. They can only give so many people that key, but at the same time, like, they didn't discourage me from keep going. They weren't like, you're absolutely horrible, like never do this again. You know what I mean? Like, they were just like, hey, like, you're good, but I don't know. Like, I'm not sure. And you have to take that on the chin. People that we look up to now still take that on the chin with the Grammys, with Billboard, with everybody. Like they have to take that on the chin, and you have to try to grow from it. You just have to be like, okay, I didn't connect with them on this level. What do I need to do in order to connect with people on this level, in this realm of the world, in this realm of the business, in this realm of the industry? Like, what can I do? Do I have to go back and work on vocals? Do I have to go back and work on me as a human being? Like, what is the thing that's not cutting through? And just work on it, and try to be yourself in the process of it all. Try not to take it so personally. Like, it's hard not to, but to me, it's like, that's the thing that's going to help you keep going forward. That's the thing that helped me go forward.
Yeah. No, an interesting point you make about Grammys, because it's just a reminder that even in the sort of, I guess, top of the industry, like if that's supposed to be about like the best of the best people that are, the most famous or whatever, the industry still finds a way to make it a competition. So even though American
Yeah.
Idol is kind of about finding like new undiscovered talent and making it a competition, once you kind of make it, you're still competing. And yet you
Oh,
have to remind yourself like it's okay to not always win, you know?
and you have to understand that sometimes, like, the answers that you might get aren't the answers that the entire nation or the world might feel.
Right.
You know, there's there's artists that we feel have been robbed from certain opportunities like that. And like I'm not gonna name any names because I'm not trying to
Right, right, right. Start a Twitter
like,
war.
but you know what I mean? It's like some of the people that we've looked up to, I mean, I would like to mention at least Michael Jackson with Bad, like a lot of people felt he got blackballed. A lot of people felt like he got put down, but to him, he was like, all right, I'm going to go back and I'm going to make an even better album. Watch. It's like, and then he did. He made an incredible album after that, and you continuously, you're gonna it is a competition, but it's either you take it as a competitive thing of like I have to beat everyone, or it's like I want to outdo myself this next time. What can I do to outdo myself rather than competing with everybody around you? Because if you're looking at everybody else, there's no way that you're going to see the finish line in front of you. If you're looking to the side of you and behind you and in front of you, you're trying to catch up, you're trying to maintain, you're trying to outbeat someone. There's always going to be somebody that is a little bit more focused that is just going to zoom right past, and just focus on the goals that you have while you're actually doing it, and I feel like all that competition ends up not being so heavy. It's still going to be there no matter what, but just cultivate what you want to do within this industry, what you want to accomplish, and focus on that rather than I want to be the next this or the next that, or even I want to be the next American Idol. I want to be my best version of myself auditioning for American Idol, and do it. Just try it. Might as well,
So were you like the very first person of that whole city, or like was it just the first day? Like how did because
it was the first day, and I was the first person on that first day as far as like going to actually audition for the celebrity judges.
and I if I'm correct, because I know you mentioned Raymond, you mentioned Corey, you were in Austin, Texas.
I was in Austin, yeah.
So that was the first city that they filmed, I believe. So you may have in fact been the very first contestant to audition for season 20 as a whole.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. That's cool.
It was really cool.
It was a
It was nerve
monumental
wracking.
season and you kicked it off.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Any other memories you made just like from the people, other contestants?
I think Corey touched on it a little bit, but at the at the hotel that we were staying at, um, everybody was sitting outside, and I was very just to myself because I was just nervous. I did there was a part of me that was like, I don't even know how I'm here right now. Like I was like I had my dad fly out with me. Um, and so like we were just talking a lot, and he was just helping me mentally get prepared for something like that because I went through it the first time, and it was a lot that when I went through it the first time in Little Rock. Um, and so I was trying to just process that. And I remember he came into the room and he was like, "Hey, they're singing downstairs. You should go check it out." And I remember just kind of standing in the back a little bit, like walking through the door, and it was outside and it was around this fire pit. And just this eclectic group of people that all could just sing the out like incredible. And I was just like, wow, like I'm I get to be with these kind of people. Like I'm put in this category with these kind of people. Like that took me by surprise. Like that made me feel special in a way, as far as a human being. Like I didn't. We all struggle with kind of like I think in a way like, do we deserve this or not? And to be able to see that, and I didn't join. I didn't do any of that. I just listened for a while, and then I just went back up to the room, and I was just kind of in awe, because it was just like there's so many talented people here, and the fact that I get to be in the same category as them, the fact that I get to be in the same city, in the same place, in the same hotel, doing the same thing, like going after the same thing is like, it's a once in a lifetime thing. And people dream of things like this. Kids that I grew up with dreamed of things like this. And some of them didn't even get to see their later, like their mid to early 20s, and to come from where I came from to now being there and actually in the process of pursuing something that I've been dreaming of ever since I was a kid. And some of those dreams felt so real, you know what I mean? And to be able to, like, wow, piece it together and everything, it was incredible. And it's something that I'll never take for granted ever, because it made me feel, a part of something bigger than myself. And I realized that I was something a part of bigger than myself.
I really have gotten such a deep insight into who you are as a person, Leroy. But to kind of top all of it off, I'm wondering, you mentioned so many people who were kind of pivotal in your journey. Just right now, even you talk about your roots and growing up and getting you to this point, being on American Idol, which is a show that changes your life, and everything that you've been up to since then, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. But there might be people listening to this who who have been a part of your support system from day one or have come into your life at a certain point. And just in case they're watching or listening, just kind of as a broad thing, I'm wondering, what would be your message to those people that have kind of been with you since the beginning and have always supported you and been there for you?
You don't know how much it means to just get a hello text when you feel lonely. And the fact that some people would message me every day and tell me that I should keep doing, like, that I should keep pursuing music, that they can't wait to hear what's coming next, that, hey, I'm thinking of you, I'm wondering if you're okay. Those things, like, it's not just my support group, it's like whoever's listening to it, and you have a friend, or you are the person that is pursuing something, and you have a friend group that's also pursuing the same thing or something different. It Those moments when you reach out to them and you're just showing your support, or you're just showing the fact that you're thinking of them. A lot of the times, a lot of us as artists, we just want to be noticed, we want to be seen, we want to be heard. And the fact that when somebody slides up on your story, or if somebody reposts your song that you just released, and they consistently do that, like, you feel like what you did is worth it, and you feel like you're being seen, and that's all we want to be as humans, is be seen. Whether you're a singer or a plumber or anything, you want you want to be seen, you want to be known for the thing that you do really well. And i think it's I think it's incredibly important as a collective group of people that we just try to acknowledge as many people as we can, rather than getting envious. The people that have been in my life, right, have never been envious, and I can be fortunate enough to say that, as far as, like, the people that have stayed around. And the people that stay around in your life, well, they won't be. They'll be excited for your wins, and they'll be there for your losses. And don't worry about the people that have disappeared. Like that, don't worry about that. It's the people that are still there, that people that are still excited to see every little move, even if it's a fall, even if it's a fail. And they're like, wow, bro, you'll get up next time and you'll do better. Your streams will do better next time. Your show, you'll have 100 people there next time instead of 2 or 3. I promise you. And the next thing you know, you have 100 or 200 or 1,000 people there, or you have 100K views, or you have 1K view, and you only had 3 views the last time. It's it's those things that really, 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 really impact you as a person. And I just want to say thank you to those people. Like, genuinely, like, you don't know how much I needed that in the moments that you actually did that. Like, I don't think they ever will. Like, but I needed that a lot more than what most people probably think, for sure.
Well, it's so great to hear about everything that you've been working on, and just knowing that you have been getting seen as an artist, and knowing that there's so much more to come from you. And I would love if you want to talk about kind of some of the latest stuff that you've been working on, what people can look forward to, what's in the now, like what do people need to know about Leroy Booker?
Yeah, absolutely. I just actually dropped a single. It's called Black Card. It just hit 100K on Spotify. The video right now, as we're speaking, is at 40K. Um, Things that have never happened to me before. As far as, like, I've released a lot of singles. I released an EP. Those have been getting insane traction at the moment. the people that have been supporting me have changed my life. I'm getting paid from things I never got paid from before. Um, I'm being able to actually pursue something that I really love. And it's because of them. You know, it's not because I'm great or because any of this. It's because for some reason they were like, I connect with you, and I think you're worth 2 minutes or 3 minutes or 5 minutes out of my time of life. Like, that's incredible to me. Like the fact that that they share, and if you have the opportunity to, and you want to share that time with me, I think that would be incredible. And I just hope to make that time worth it, you know? So check out Black Card. I got more singles coming up right now. I'm shooting multiple videos. I'm having an album come out soon. Just a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff is going on, and just tap in with me.
Well, we actually are going to play Black Card as soon as this interview wraps. And also, I want to talk about the brand new American Idol Unaired playlist. If you hit the link in our bio or you type the American Idol Unaired playlist on Spotify, we're also working on Apple Music, by the way, but we've got one place for you to check out all the latest music from all of our American Idol Unaired guests. So, Leroy, we're going to add Black Card to that playlist, and you, my friend, are going to have a link to add songs whenever you want, new releases, old stuff to the playlist, so you guys can hit shuffle so you can hear music from Leroy, all of our past guests, upcoming guests. The idea is you guys can always stay in the loop with music from our guests. Look out for that. And one more thing before we go, I want you to plug the socials so that people do not miss a thing from you about shows, new music, anything like that. So take it away.
Absolutely. You can follow me on Instagram at Leroy_music. And again, it's Leroy_music. It's really easy to see. I'm covering my face like this in a beanie. It's great. And, and you can follow me on YouTube as well. Tap into my YouTube. It's Leroy Booker. Everything is Leroy Booker. So just look up Leroy Booker. You can Google it. You'll be able to see anything. So tap in with me. I can't wait for you guys to join the journey. And it's been incredible so far. So if you're joining, welcome. And if not, thank you for even listening. I appreciate you.
I'm in. I've joined. I'm invested. I'm here. I'm staying. I'm present. So, guys, if you enjoyed this conversation, you can follow us if you've not already on Instagram or TikTok at Idol Unaired Podcast. Like I said before, make sure that you hit the subscribe button if you have not already on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or YouTube, wherever you are listening or watching. Thank you guys so much. And Leroy, thank you so much for being a part of American Idol Unaired.
Thank you. I appreciate your platform, man. You're doing an amazing thing. I hope you know that.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
Look it over, ask somebody else who knows. I think the more you talk, the more embarrassing I am, so I'm gonna stop talking. Okay, love you, bye.
She likes to lounge in her ASOS. Blonde bad chick on a day off. She don't fuck around, she gonna play hard. Shot down, baby, with a black car. I ain't tryna stop, but I don't miss shit. Curry with the flick, I'm gonna hit this. Gemini, girl, emotions flip quick. Bored of other niggas on your wish list. Yeah, she tired lately, feeling wild, stepping up out for sure. Rockin' a Ritzy, yeah, Armani, talking to Gio on my shirt. Versace dealing blue, honing into all your nerves. Her, you have a bad temper, but you also got some curve. Her, you want a real nigga, beta Billy to the curb. Seen them hitting on your line, saying how they feelings hurt. You loved them one time till we met, and now you sure. I'll be deep into your mind, giving the life that you deserve. Want a room, let's book the risk. You want a bag, Louis or Burke? Want some magic, got the stick, call me 50 in the burbs. Looking deep into my eyes, tell me often she gets bored, but I ain't other niggas, always leave you wanting more. Oh, she likes to lounge in her ASOS. Blonde bad chick on a day off. She don't fuck around, she gonna play hard. Shot town, baby, with a black car. I ain't tryna stop, but I don't miss shit. Curry with the flick, I'm gonna hit this. Gemini, girl, emotions flip quick. Bored of other niggas on your wish list. Shawty told me to come closer, ask me where you been. All these boys up in this party, but she needs a man. Sipping up on Sundown Julio, she plays again. Grabbing my shirt as I walk, tell him don't pretend. She sees the lies in disguise, but can't read me yet. Intuition running wild in the streets again. Baby, trust me for the night, maybe link it 10. Cause it's you I really want, but you can bring a friend. She likes to lounge in her ASOS. Blonde bad chick on a day off. She don't fuck around, she gonna play hard. Shot down, baby, with a black car. I ain't tryna stop, but I don't miss shit. Curry with the flick, I'm gonna hit